Call to order town council meeting here for Fontana Dam, Wednesday, August 17th, 5:36. All right. On the agenda, does anybody have any additions, modifications, corrections? Otherwise, entertaining motions.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. July minutes. Anybody see anything in those from the last meeting that we had?
I apologize for getting you so late. I thought I'd sent them, and then I was like, oh my God, no, I didn't. So.
Is there entertaining motions there? If nothing looks out of whack.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Let's see. Public comment. We've got Rachel Harden, lives here in the village. Interested in being on the council, so welcome, Rachel. Thanks for attending. We'll talk about that here in a little bit. We're going to get through the wastewater update with Carrie here right now. She's our ORC over there. She's the one that makes the water and kind of solves a lot of those problems, and hopefully she's got a good report for us today. Kind of, sort of. All right.
With the state inspection, we are needing to do a CP study. That's a contact time with the chlorine, and it has to be through an engineer. We had one done, but it was invalid.
And we paid money for it, but we can't recoup that.
Yeah.
So I talked to Keep Up with Rural Water,
Yep.
and he didn't get back to me today, so maybe tomorrow or sometime in the week. But he was going to try to see if he could find somebody that was reasonable and could come out and do it.
Okay.
And so we can get that approved through the state. Because we're working on a theoretical one right now.
Yeah.
But that was the only really thing in the inspection that we needed to do, and continue to work on the water loss situation. But they were pleased with what we had done so far, which brings me to, we had talked about the pool. I got a couple of videos, and I've done some testing. I got some water from the drain, and it's definitely pool water. I have the chlorine results.
Okay.
Here's what the chlorine looks like. We're sending like a 1.1 out of the plant. That's the color of the water when you put the reagent in it to test it.
That's flowing into the.
That's going out of the plant, the water plant down there. Up to
Okay.
it. Okay. Can you see how that color is?
Yeah.
And I'll show you the video in just a second. That is the color that's coming out of the pipe, the drain that goes into the storm drain.
Okay.
So, and that's, our machine didn't read it. I didn't set it to high range. That's above a 2.2. That's pool water.
Yeah.
Okay, so I went and checked it this morning. There's, where the sidewalk goes up to the Stone Creek? There's a storm drain right there. And if you look down that storm drain, you see a pipe come out.
Well, and just to regroup here a little bit, and especially, so this is in regards to where, we have that, what was it, the float?
Yeah, the float valve.
And it's been broken for a long time, and
the automatic of that float valve, when that pool reaches a certain point, the float valve would float up, cut it off.
Yeah, the input stops coming in.
But Jeff had mentioned that it never got full enough for that.
Well,
Right?
Right.
Let me show you
Okay,
this.
so now here's the video.
This one was at 11, it was doing the same thing this morning, but this one's at 11, around 7:30 this morning. This was at 11:15 today.
Now this is the overflow. This is, right?
This is across the street from the general store?
Yes. Okay, that's coming from the pool. And that's the water. I stuck a little container down in there when I stuck it to.
That's a steady little stream. I mean,
That's quite a bit over a course of
how is
time.
that as much as say a hose outlet would be coming, or maybe a little less than that?
Probably a little less than that.
Okay.
But did you show them the one where it increases?
Yeah, that's the one where you can see where it's. See how it's just like a trickle?
Yeah.
Okay, now watch just a second. See?
What time? When was that?
That was 11:15 this morning, and then I went back up a few minutes ago before I came up here, and there were people in the pool, and we still got a stream of water coming out.
Okay.
I'll show you.
And what's the inlet looking? Are they still running a hose in there?
It's automatic if they're that full, from what I'm told. There's a float valve, but it's busted.
Okay.
And when the pool is full, I mean, I walked around the pool. And
So the float valve's busted, so if they just have the valve on,
it's just straight
it's,
flow,
then it's just
24 hours
overflow.
a day.
It's just an overflow situation.
Yeah, so, I mean, anytime I check
So that's
it
just
today-
water loss.
Anytime I checked that pipe today, there was water flowing out of it. Sometimes it was a smaller stream, sometimes it was that big stream.
Right.
Um,
So I guess the thing we need to do is to address the float valve.
And I looked, I don't know what time's up there, I was where it was at, but I couldn't get it to the,
Yeah, to the room?
yeah, or into the, outside the pool.
Okay.
And then it increases it.
Oh,
Yeah, what do you think caused that little point hit increase like that? You know, did something kick on?
Could be,
Or did a bunch of people get in the pool at the same time?
could be, you know,
Cause
just
an
like the overflow, yeah.
The thing of it is, though, the
If you're
point
definitely-
is that it's definitely getting full.
Yeah.
So the fact that, you know, we were told that it doesn't get full enough to
It sounds like you
need
need a new
a,
float valve to
Yeah.
start with. I mean,
that's what I think that we need
that's
to
the place
get.
you start.
That's not gonna be
It's
expensive. That's not gonna be expensive thing.
I looked at, Dennis says it's just like, it's like a, you know, kind of like the commode has like the bottle on it.
Mhm.
From what I'm told, that's what's busted, it's kind of like that.
Okay.
And I looked online, and I don't know exactly what comes up there, but they're anywhere from $20
Yeah.
to a couple $100 if you need.
We've got a float valve on our little pond deal, little waterfall out back, and occasionally it gets hung up and you just have to pull it apart and sort of clean it up, and then you do it and it works, starts working fine for a while.
Because you know how, the last meeting I told you, I showed you, gave you the paperwork, where we were in 8.5 days, or 8.5 hours a day.
Yeah.
Now we're up to anywhere from 9 to 10 hours a day. We're losing 1.25 feet an hour when the plant shut down
Yeah.
through the night.
Yeah.
And now I'm just gaining, instead of over the 2, I'm just gaining like 1.88 feet an hour in the village tank.
So, what did you used to lose a night? Like,
Gosh, it was
for
supposed to-
comparison's sake.
Before they valved that pipe off out there, it was
Yeah.
around, I don't know, 1.5, 2 feet an hour.
Okay. And now
There's
you're,
still a little bit of, there's a difference.
now how much are you losing, say, what'd you say, 1.25
Yeah.
per hour?
Yeah,
Okay.
so,
We're kind of going, we're
We're
going
back
backwards.
Yeah, we're backtracking there.
and I don't know if, I'm not going up to the lodge pool to look, but Jeff, I talked to Jeff Williams, last week. And he said that he noticed that they had the water cut up at the lodge pool. But he didn't go over and check it out, so I mean, that could be part of it. But I mean, this water coming out, this overflowing from those stone pits, I mean, that's definitely part of it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think we just have to keep kind of beating the drum right now, especially once we get to sort of a little bit more off-season, then we can start beating the drum a little louder when hopefully there's more time to address some of these things.
You know, we've only got like a couple of weeks and pools will be shut off.
Yeah.
And that'll give us a better notice.
You know,
But
while
before
the
it goes
pool
back
was
up
going,
next year, we need to
while
get
the
that
pool was
fixed.
going, I wanted to go, after I asked him last week, you know, what, you know, if it was leaks, if it was, you know, and he told me that float valve had been busted for years. I just wanted to go up and see what, I knew where the drain was. And I wanted to check the chlorine in it to, you know, show that it was for sure, because you can smell the chlorine at the drain. To, you know, that's a higher dose of chlorine than we're feeding, so it has to come from the pool.
Right.
I just wanted to, you know, show that we,
gonna give a float valve.
Well, and that's the question, if we know the float valve's busted, why haven't we replaced that float valve?
Because he said that the pool did not get
So
full
we,
enough
so we
to
had
overflow.
we had leaks that were not allowing it to fill up to the point to where a float valve would operate was
I think, is that correct?
his
I think.
theory. But if we've got overflow coming out of there, we clearly, you know.
Are full.
Yeah, we're overfull, so.
I mean, even if it was to cut off, if it was leaking, if it was to cut off, you know,
Some of the time.
some of the time, that's something.
Right.
And then but every time I checked it today, for it to be overflowing, that tells me that, and even with people in it,
So us playing and splashing and everything,
The
but it's still.
nice thing would be if we could actually see if we could address that float valve before we get to where we turn that pool off.
to see what.
Then we can quantify, okay, that made this amount of difference.
And if they're not gonna fix it, that would be a good place to try to put, I don't know how you would, because it's just that big pipe, you know, coming out of there. But to put a meter somewhere on that pool to see how, because I mean, it's just a guess, or we were just guessing.
Yeah.
Like a 3/4 inch line, you know, like, there was really no way to.
Quantify the input.
see how much is actually, if they're not gonna fix it, see how much is actually going through. See if we're right on the amount of gallons, if it's 40 to 60,000 gallons a day per, between both the pools.
Yeah. Because we've got to start gathering data. Ultimately, for you, the background is we're dealing with a 1940s era pipe system. So we've got a lot of leaks. We had an aerial water plant that was paired with that we replaced a few years ago. So we've got a new plant, and or fairly new plant at this point, and it'll produce plenty of water. It goes to an intermediate tank, and then it goes to a tank up here. So we had been, as whack-a-mole for a while, trying to fix things. Now that number one, we got Carrie in here full-time. We kind of stole her from Robbinsville. Sorry about that. But
Sorry, not sorry.
so, and Carrie's been helping us out for years on a kind of a part-time basis. She was a temporary ORC for a while, an operator in charge. So,
Yes.
sure.
Why would, was it funding, or why would a new water plant be built but then go into old?
Yeah.
We got grants for the water plant.
But
and
not
so-
for the pipe?
not for the
It's
pipe.
two different systems. Like the water plant is, it's the water plant. And the pipes, all that stuff, that's your distribution system. So it should all go together like that.
Yeah,
But
see,
you've
that's
got-
what I was
Like there's a different ORC for the distribution system than just the water plant.
It would make sense. At the time, that was the weakest link. Once we fixed that, then the distribution system became the weakest link.
The old water plant was wooden, and it was literally on its last
Yeah,
legs,
it
and
was
the
duct taped
state
down
was just
wire.
like, oh, that was hot and heavy. If we hadn't got the new plant up and running, we'd have been shut down,
Oh, okay.
and that would have been the
And
result.
at the time, we couldn't develop any interest in the various federal entities in, replacing the plant.
So what-
Somebody builds it, but then they're not interested in. So what happened was they decided, the folks before we were around decided to form the town. And they were hoping to then be able to develop some funding through a variety of different methods. The only ones that really was a variety of grants. There was about 5 or 6 grants, state, federal grants that were about 3.2 million, I think. And we actually had to value engineer the plant because I think the bids that came in were more like 3.5 to 3 3/4. Closer to 4
No, there
million.
was some that was over 4.
Yeah, 4 to 5 million too.
Yeah.
And we had to go to the lowest bidder and we had to cut it down just to get to where we could afford.
So if we could, I'm just
Which is
trying.
better than the 75 to 80 that we were at,
It's
so.
an improvement.
Right.
I'm just trying.
We dropped from a 79.55% to 62.8%.
So I'm trying to get us on down closer to the 15%. I'm just trying, I don't know, I'm just trying different things.
So the plan was before, we just had enough manpower to kind of tread water and just produce enough for the demands. Now we're a little ahead to where we've got a little extra manpower, so now we can really start investigating, quantifying, and really try to develop where's the problem. Once we identify the problem, now we got to figure out how much is it going to cost. Can we get creative with some solutions instead of just digging it up and replacing it? We might be able to come in and kind of you inject a line, and that saved a lot of money. TVA paid for that into the wastewater system, which is kind of in a similar state. You built something in the 40s, you can't expect it to be running in 2020.
That's true. That's true.
So-
That's a lot of years.
That's a lot of years. That's an unrealistic expectation. So we're trying to be squeaky wheels, not too squeaky, but at the same time, and we're trying to address these things. We've solved a big deal with Carrie coming in. We've had a few operators in the past, various issues, and hopefully we solved a fairly basic issue, and now we can start hunting for the problems and hunting for the solutions. Because we can't really implement a solution if we don't know where the problem is.
And a lot of this is state mandated too. I mean, you know, being a municipality, and we own all the infrastructure, so we own the water plant, wastewater plant, the distribution lines and the collection system and all of that. So they stay on us too continuously about trying to get these things fixed, because they don't like you know, if you operate at that high of a water loss, there's too many areas that run the risk of contamination, you know. Wastewater is even worse, so that also motivates us to be that squeaky wheel without being too squeaky, you know.
Well, and we don't want to, we want to let people know that there's issues, but at the same time, we don't want to piss anybody off, really. I mean, because we're working closely with TVA and we're working closely with the resort, so it's, you know, we identify some of this like pool
we know
issue.
the pool, there's a problem there, but I mean, I'm not trying to like say. I want to see how, like, if we can fix one problem at a time, and we keep knocking down that water percent, I mean, it's just gonna get.
Yep.
We get a better,
2% here, 5% there.
we get a better
10%
understanding
there.
of what's actually happening with the lines that are in use, like it goes to the lodge, it goes to the cabins. If we can get these big water, you know, that are just,
And especially if it's a simple fix, like replacing that valve.
yeah, I mean.
You know, that
like I
plug
said,
device,
like,
I mean,
it could have been a $2 part, it could have been a, you know, couple $100 part, or $1,000 part, but if it's just, if the flood, I mean, I understand that there's probably some leaks in that pool, maybe not, because they said it didn't drop that bad when we had the whole pressure valve problem.
Right.
And they had to cut it off because we didn't have enough, when we could get water to the tanks. That it didn't drop all that much, but.
Right.
I mean, we know there's some overflow, so it would be interesting, you know, if that's a simple fix, and I talked to Tim LeFaker about it, asked him if he knew anything about stuff like that, and he said he could look at it, no problem.
Okay. Next time he's around.
Yeah, he thought he might be up Thursday, but, we went to the pup off this evening, and our generator's back.
Yeah, they
And the
brought it back
rental, and the
today.
rental's gone, thought he might bring that up and come back get the other one, so I'm not sure. When-
So the other one is gone or it's not gone?
It's gone, the rental's gone, and ours is back.
Yeah, I knew ours was back, but
Yeah, so,
Mitchell had emailed me today and said they were.
I saw it sitting there when I came in.
so I don't know, but I emailed Mitchell, and he knows, and I talked to him, like, we need to rebuild that check valve up there at the intermediate pump, because we're having that go up every morning and open it up, and then every evening we're having to close it, so we
Yeah.
can't operate the pump from the plant.
Yeah.
And we have a rebuild kit for that, and Dino's got a quote for a new one.
Yeah, that was the one that you were just telling me, and it was, how much was it?
20, let me look.
Wait for the hammer to drop in this one. 20 grand.
No.
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 $20 million.
1999.
2348,
Oh.
2348.
So 2000.
348 for a new check valve. And then I saw the problem up there with us having to go up and open and close that by hand.
Yeah. So
Definitely
That
needs to
should
get
be-
addressed, yeah.
yeah, I will
We'll-
send an email out to Mitchell. I told him already that we're waiting on a quote, but
Yeah.
I'll send him the quote.
So where do we want to keep the generator? I know we've kind of been, it's had a home in a lot of
It's got to
different
be at a
places.
place where it's going to be started once a week.
So,
Like our generators at the water plant, you know, they kick on automatic and the wastewater plant, they kick on automatic when the power goes off. But they also kick on once a week and run for, I think the one at the water plant runs maybe 30 minutes or something like that, and then it cuts back off, just to keep it, like the batteries, you know, make sure it will run.
could we park that down at the water plant?
I mean, there's-
Well, I would assume that we could, but I mean, I don't know.
I don't know
They
why-
want to use it other places at times, but I mean, why can't they go there and do it?
It would be, you know, when it's parked in a parking lot off in, you know, wherever, you know, it's out of
But you
sight,
gotta
out of
also
mind.
remember that that's where that backhoe got, or that track hoe got stolen too, was down there.
Well, that's what I was gonna say, I'd like to park it down there, and I would like to have a security measure in place to, you know, something, you know, we lock it up, you know, we stash it somewhere down there so that we can,
I mean, you could pull it up where the only problem, well,
Could
no.
we not put it behind the fence down there at the wastewater plant, down there where the drying beds are?
Yeah, it should be able to back in there and lock it up.
Yeah,
behind
that
the
should be
gate.
a perfect place for it, because then it'll be behind a locked gate.
yeah, I mean, something to.
Yeah, I think that would work better than the water plant. because
Yeah.
People can, you know how you pull up and
Yeah.
you can't really see what's going on up there
Right.
if you're just driving on the campground road.
Right.
I didn't know there was a way to lock it up, like if there was a way to throw a pretty heavy chain to where you had.
On the side, and it's like,
You know, where the drying beds are out there on the
Yeah.
low side.
Yeah.
We could back it in there though, and at least it's, I mean, they'd have to bust that gate.
That's my concern is, I mean, you know,
You know, and run it.
Yeah.
And
You're like
do
that,
that.
you
That's
know.
why the wastewater plant would be good for that too.
Sure.
If we could just figure out a way to maybe anchor it more securely down there.
yeah. Let's just look
We'll
at
see if we can figure
what
that out.
makes the most sense there.
I mean, there's room up there at the water plant, but I'm not, I mean, it would be easy for somebody to just pull up and pick up
Yeah.
a trailer.
And I don't know, could we stash it right inside the gate? Would that be too, you know, inside the door, you know?
Oh, in the water plant?
Yeah.
Oh, open up the sliding
And put
door.
it in the
Would that
bay?
be too much of a pain to work around, or would that be enough room in
That's
there?
pretty big, if you think about doing that. But
I
it
mean,
would,
they could try.
You just think about it. I don't wanna step on your toes, but I don't want that thing to come up
Listen,
stolen.
I mean, I mean, if they,
maybe we'll measure it and see.
I think it would, I mean, I'm pretty sure it would fit in there, it's just as long, I mean, we just have to, you know, be able to go out. We could come out the office door and go around, you know, if it come in front of that, just go around.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't look terribly big as far as generators.
That door doesn't get, that sliding door doesn't get used, a roll-up door doesn't get used for anything
No,
anyway. so.
I mean, every now and then,
But when it's pulled in there, it is gonna be in front of the door that they do use to go into the lab and
I
stuff.
can't remember how much room it is from the.
there's a drain there, but I don't think it's all the way across, like enough water drain and stuff. But I think it was because when they come with chemicals, when they just pump up from the truck, they use just the door there, that we don't open the bay door.
Is there anybody that uses that bay door?
Not that I know of. I mean, the chemical companies maybe use it at pharmacy, but it's easier just to prop the door open and let them come in, because they pull the truck right there in the door and they just run hoses in there.
Right,
And also, I have contacted the chemical company about getting us the top feeder tank.
right.
And yet to have heard anything. In Ken Street, the guy that does the calibrations, he came last week,
Mhm.
and he can't get them to get a quote for any, the pumps or any of that stuff either.
So what are they just like,
They could be backed up, or they may have supply issues on some of that stuff.
can they not, would they not just say that?
You know, the water plant's email, I've texted the guy that emails it, you know. So I'm gonna keep trying, but I mean, I can't get any response from them. I mean, we have one top feeder tank down there, but we still need to, when we move to the top feeders, we'll need to change out the pumps.
But we'll just keep trying to address that problem. That's all we can do, I think, at this point.
So, I think that's everything I have, but, you know, we're pumping, we were like 145,000 gallons a day, now we're in that 150s, one. Sometimes I can go up and try to see if I can get enough water in there.
Yeah.
And see if it's got chlorine in it.
It's just been staying, I've noticed it in the last month or so, it was staying wet, and then I guess with the latest power, they got in there, and when they drove in there, you can see where it's staying wet. It's, you know, probably 100 feet worth of section, so it looks to me like I don't think it's,
Okay.
but, you know.
You never know. But I'm just trying, maybe we can get, you know, if we can get this pool, you know, just to see what that would make a difference. I mean, it's gonna, I know it makes a difference when the pool's cut off in the winter time. I mean, we know that makes a difference.
Right.
But it'd be, you know, maybe solve a problem throughout the
Yeah,
year.
I mean, and if there, we just, you know, if we can figure out if there is something more than just that float valve that is prevented them from putting a new one on.
Yeah.
You know, because it just doesn't really make sense why nobody would have ever, and I'm not talking about this, people here now, but if this has been broken for years, why didn't somebody else fix it? If that's all the issue was, you know?
I agree.
So,
I mean,
yeah,
well, we found that problem. We know that problem exists. So if we can get something worked on, then that's just another, you know, could be
Another
another
thing,
10,
yeah.
15% of water that we're, maybe
Right.
more, who knows?
all right.
Keep getting us down, and then the better standing you are with like water loss and stuff like that, if grants were to come available,
Yeah.
I mean, I'll come into that problem also with water loss, about getting funding and stuff. And it sees that you're not just wasting, you know, it's easier to get grants if you've got your water loss and you can account for most of your water under control. They're more likely to help you
Right.
if you're helping yourself.
Right. Yeah. If you're not helping yourself, they're like, well, why should we?
Right.
All right.
Okay, any questions about everything?
You
Did I
guys got any
forget
questions?
anything?
No, I'm good.
Good, good.
Well, I'm at the water plant if y'all need me.
All right. Thank you, Gary.
All right. See y'all
Thanks,
next
Gary.
month. See you next month. Next month. Hey, oh wait, I'm gonna be at the beach next month.
Oh, no.
Yes, yes, yes.
you, Carrie.
Nice to meet you too.
See you.
It's the, 20 let me look real quick.
It's September 21st.
21st?
Yeah. How's she going?
She's
Get out of here.
She's going to the beach right now.
Yes, in no time.
That's right.
All right, so now we got some water
The
bill.
water bill, you know, we had talked about this before, and I got a hold of John, our long lost lawyer. It's been forever since I've talked to him. And he said it was perfectly legal to do what we were talking about with the resort. We just need an MOU with them. And he kind of sent me an example. Now, I haven't been able to change anything because I just got it like right 5 minutes for this meeting. So, you know, this would be something that would get, that the resort would have to sign with us, and because that would just, all it does is states that they're gonna hold the money out and that we're gonna bill them at the end of each month. And then the residents will get a copy of this that would state that they're okay with having the resort hold the money out of that. If they don't wanna do it, they can still come and pay, but there's no more state of emergency. So that means that late fees and stuff will be accrued on everything. So, I'll try to get this worked up. I'll send it to Meredith and let her look at it, and then we can kind of go from there.
I wouldn't even give people, the new people coming in, an option. I would just say this is.
Yes, this will be for just those that are here.
I don't even know that I would give us here the option either. I think,
Well, but the thing of it is, though, and this will be clear when I send out the water bills, is if they are more than 10 days past due, then they're gonna get a late fee added on. And we'll cut the water off. So, I mean, you know, I'm thinking most people are gonna probably go ahead and say, yes, let them do that. Yeah.
Honestly, having it taken out of your check automatically, it makes it so much more easier.
Right.
to-
Yeah,
the bad thing about it is you still have people who are behind.
right.
So even if we start taking it out, like, that's another thing. Can we legally take more out than what their bill is, or do they still have to come and pay you?
No,
or
well,
what?
because.
I think they're gonna have, any outstanding, they're gonna have to settle up with.
Yeah, I think
And-
probably.
And then
And
going
moving
forward,
forward, yeah.
you know, the resort would just be paying for current and forward. You know, it would be, they cover it and then, or, you know, they bill it to them and then they bring it back to us, so.
So the ones that are, you know, in arrears, I will send them a note that says, you know, well, first of all, there's one in particular that it definitely has to get in touch with me, and, or, you know,
We're overhauling our water
Yeah.
billing protocol.
Because the state of
And we're
emergency
making a
is
shift,
Mhm.
and we need to get everyone current ASAP.
but even with the state of emergency, the only thing that was is that you could not charge late fees, which I had not charged any late fees. That doesn't mean you don't owe for those bills.
Right.
It does not mean that at all. It just means that you can't
So what
charge
about the
late fees.
cutting, I mean, did you get clarification on cutting water off, is that?
Well, but I mean, yeah,
We're not in a state of
now, I mean, that
emergency, so
doesn't,
that
yeah,
should
none
be-
of that even applies now. We can operate
I
as.
mean, we don't wanna do that,
No.
absolutely, but, you know, if you get 6 months out and there's
When's
no
it gonna
dialogue
pick
or
up?
communication, it's like,
Yeah,
you don't
well,
have
and we're not
much
gonna allow
leverage.
that. We,
They usually get somebody's attention real quick.
What we say,
Has there
maybe
been
cut it off
anywhere? Has there been
Right.
any change? Has
Yeah, if you were in
there been
Bryson City,
any
you,
on that?
Yeah,
2 or 3
cut
months,
off.
yeah.
The thing with that is that, Zoe, I feel like you.
I mean, that's what,
What you've done to one, you gotta do to others.
I agree, and, that will be going out tomorrow to their house. Because, and, you know, because the new water bill's going out, so that will definitely be going out.
So, I mean, I think that I'm encouraged that that's gonna
Yeah.
take, going forward in the future, that's gonna take a lot, like you said, it's gonna be easier for the residents.
Mhm.
It's gonna be easier for you.
And it's gonna be, you know, easier for those that don't wanna pay in cash and they can't pay with a debit card because we don't have the machine and, you know, they can't reach somebody.
The only person that complicates something for a little bit is you. You're gonna have an extra check to cut or something to that effect.
Well, that's fine, we can work that out. The hardest part for me is, we have to come up with a weekly rate. So that's gonna kind of shift things a little bit, because we can't do it per month. The problem with that is, because I can't go in and change it every single month for every single person, like, to just come out of like 1 check or 4 checks, or,
I see.
so that's gonna be the hardest part.
Is it weekly
So
or bi-weekly?
It's weekly.
Oh.
So the months where there's 5 weeks, it's gonna take more out. The months where there's 4 weeks, it's gonna take less. So that's kind of where we're gonna have to say, okay, so what I have to do is take the $600 and I'm gonna divide it by 52. And that's what they're gonna pay per week.
Right.
So that,
So
It'll
it's not
So
on the
it's-
wash on an annual basis, but
exactly.
it may make for, hopefully it won't, it's not gonna screw us up. Check with Willow May and just make sure that that's not gonna complicate us. If she's expecting a monthly thing and we're not
Well,
quite
she'll-
balancing.
Well, it
No,
should
it
still,
will
everything
always, she
yeah.
will she will bill us the $50
Yeah,
per
for-
month.
per resident.
Yes. So you'll never
And I'll get that
see-
check in our, for
So
our.
as long
water
as
and
as long as
reimbursement.
it balances on an annual basis, we should be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to balance on a monthly basis.
Well, it will though for us.
See,
They're just doing the adjustment. We get the actual money coming back to us each month for every resident.
So like, yeah, it won't, she's just gonna bill us for $50 for every person who's here.
Right.
I might have only collected $40 from that person that month. I'd still pay her $50.
Oh, you're paying her 50.
Yeah.
Yes, no matter
So it comes out in
what.
the wash for you guys.
At the end of the year,
I
it's
see.
still just $600.
It's more your accounting side than
Right.
it is
Yeah.
our accounting.
But I have to do it that way because I can't.
Who is that? Is that you?
Yeah.
Yeah, that, I mean, I agree that just taking it and multiplying it by that would be
Yeah,
good.
I have to do that, or else I have to go in like every month and change people's, this week we're not taking money out, and then people will be confused on what week of the
Yeah.
5 weeks we are or we're not.
Yeah.
So it's just gonna be easier, just right across the board, just do a flat
Yeah,
fee.
I agree. So, but anyway, I'll work more on this and, if that, but I think we probably do need to, vote on whether we want to accept this way of doing things, of getting an MOU and getting that sent out. I know that we talked about it before, but I don't think we ever actually voted on it, so that might be something we have to add to action items here.
If you want to go talk to her for a second and tell her
That you're busy?
I'm in a meeting.
I'm so sorry.
I'm sorry you feel bad, buddy.
That's okay, it's getting better.
So we can vote on that later. So just approval of the contract with resort and residents, if that's something you want to do.
Yep. Sounds like it. I mean,
Yeah,
you guys.
I mean, I think that's the best option.
I like it.
And we have somebody here that kind of represents the residents, and you think the same thing, right? That
I
would be,
do, I think it
yeah,
would be easier.
you know, so,
Sometimes we look at something and we think it makes sense and it's logical, but occasionally somebody.
we have found out that that's not always the case.
There's one in every crowd.
Even in bonding,
All right, so
right.
the Smoky Mountain Regional Hazard Mitigation Plan.
So we have had to approve one of these before. It's simply the same thing. It's whereas the town of Fontana Dam is vulnerable to an array of hazards that can cause loss of life and damages to public and private property, and whereas the town of Fontana Dam desires to seek ways to mitigate situations that may aggravate such circumstances, and whereas the development and implementation of a hazard mitigation plan can result in actions that reduce the long-term risk to life and property from hazards, and whereas it is the intent of the Fontana Dam Town Council to protect its citizens and property from the effects of hazards by preparing and maintaining a local hazard mitigation plan, and whereas it is also the intent of the Fontana Dam Town Council to fulfill its obligation under North Carolina General Statutes, Chapter 166A, North Carolina Emergency Management Act, and Section 322 Mitigation Planning of the Robert T. Stanford Disaster Relief and Emergency Assistance Act to remain eligible to receive state and federal assistance in the event of a declared disaster affecting the county of Graham, and whereas Graham County Emergency Management, in coordination with Cherokee, Haywood, Jackson, and Swain counties, the municipalities within those counties, and the Eastern Band of Cherokee Indians has prepared a
Multi-jurisdictional?
Yes, thank you. I can't get my tongue around it. Mitigation plan with input from the appropriate local and state officials, whereas the North Carolina Emergency Management has reviewed the Smoky Mountain Regional Hazard Mitigation Plan for legislative compliance and has approved the plan pending the completion of local adoption procedures Now therefore be it resolved that the town council of the town of Fontana Dam hereby adopts the Smoky Mountain Regional Hazard Mitigation Plan and agrees to take such other official action as may be reasonably necessary to carry out the proposed actions of the plan. The end. So it's the same thing as before. I will tell you that I know that Lake Santila, there was one person on the board that did not approve it because they have not had a chance to read this mitigation plan over. I do have a link to it. It's 80-some pages long. If anybody wants to read that, I'll be happy to send it to you.
I don't mind.
I feel you stuttering there.
I don't mind complying with it. You know, if there is a hazard, you know, that requires mitigation, I suppose.
Well, I mean, I'm trying to think of like when we've had to use it before when we had the state of emergency that, you know, Larry Hembry and, you know, we've had to do this before. You had to sign those. So that is all part of this.
Yeah,
you know,
you're typically gonna be asked to comply with the county.
Yeah.
And, you know, occasionally there can be some politics that comes into play, as we saw in the last go-around with the county.
Yeah.
So, but, you know, at the time, we didn't really know what was going on. So I guess the way I look at it is, I think you can always sign on and you know, say you adopt it, but in the end, if there's a specific thing that comes up that you could not foresee, then you can have that discussion at that
Right.
time.
Right.
You know, you can change.
will tell you this, that all of the municipalities in a county has to be an approval of it for that to pass. So like if one municipality said, no, we're not going to adopt it, then that would run it for the whole county.
Right.
So there's that.
So there's that. You know.
We can either go ahead and vote for it now or,
Yeah, why don't we go ahead and, while we got that fresh, we'll take action on that. I'm entertaining the motions to approve the Smoky Mountain Regional Hazard Mitigation Plan.
I motion to approve the Smoky Mountain Regional Hazardous Mitigation Plan.
Thank you for that motion, Lacey. All in favor?
That was a lot.
I know, right? You should try reading all of that.
You were talking so fast, I'm like, wait, I can't remember what he said.
You're right, it is a lot.
All right. So we're moving to the financials.
Okay, the town currently in general funds has $181,067.99. And in utility fund, we have $66,838.19. I rounded that off, so it's a total of $247,906. But in the utility, I think there's, how much was that one check? 20?
20, was it 29?
No, when I
No,
think it's
23.
23,000 that I wrote check to Baker's. I just don't think they cashed it yet, so that's going to take that amount. It's just a pass through, so.
So we have a fair amount of money in the bank that hasn't always been that way. And through COVID, we were fortunate, we weren't really sure how things were going to go when the previous management group sort of gave the lease back to TVA. TVA, we talked with them and they agreed to basically fund the town as it was before. So we haven't been, welcome to stay.
Yeah, you can stay, it doesn't matter, we're not.
You're public.
Well, Mom doesn't want me here, so.
And no, she. Just sit right in front of that camera.
No. I was gonna say you can sound like everyone's pew, but so it's
Is it
fine.
filming? Is it filming?
Yeah, we're live right now. Yeah.
You're live?
No, you're good.
Yeah,
You're good.
right, but you're fine.
You weren't in the shot. You can sit down. You're fine.
Just sit down.
Absolutely fine.
So we there for a while, we were just kind of piling money up and, you know, weren't really sure what was going to happen. So we were getting a lot closer to our budget. You know, we were running a pretty good surplus there for a while for a variety of reasons. I mean, we can get into some more details, you know, give you some background at some point. But generally speaking, the way the town is funded, just real quick, there's no private property pretty much, right? I mean, it's all federal government land. So they pay a payment in lieu of taxes called PILT that goes to the county. And it is for pretty much the 80% of the county land that's federal land, you know, whether it's
And
Forest
this is
Service.
considered federal?
It is federal because it's TVA.
So it, but it, yeah, so.
But it gets lumped in as a government payment, so that was one of the funding vehicles that the folks who started the town thought there might be an ability to tap into some of that bill money. It turns out that they may give you money based on, say, land or land area, but when it comes to distribution, it's based on population, of which we have very few. If you want to say we got 30 to 40 residents out of 8,000 and some in the county,
But our census registered us as 13.
13, well, and then there's that thing too, you know, census, you know, yeah.
Pesky census. They'll get you every
But I mean,
time.
you know, if you look at who's living here right now, that's roughly, I think we were counting up that.
I think it was like 30.
35 or 36 or
Well, maybe, it might have been 36, I can't remember now.
something like that. It typically goes up in the summer with more folks working, and then it kind of drops down a little bit as you lose some seasonal workers, and then you've got kind of the mainstays that have been here a while.
I think everybody here right now will pretty much stay.
Yeah, I think so too.
I don't think we'll lose any of the people who are here.
But for census, though, what they count is people that are actually, like, this is their primary place of residence. And a lot of times these people are counted at,
Might have
like at their
different
mom and dad's
residences.
house or, you know, someplace else, and they're not registered here,
If you
so,
haven't
you know.
changed- If you haven't changed voter registration, if you haven't changed DMV, you haven't, you know, there's a lot of different ways to, you know, to be considered, you know, or at least from the census standpoint, they're gonna try to figure it out, and then you get to, I think you pretty much fill in what address you're living at for the census, so.
All right, well, no, they called on addresses that they had through 9/11 and, or 911.
Yeah.
And, so that, then they would, you know, ask about some of those. And some of those people, like, at that time at least, were temporary, you know, they were just here passing through. But, you know, I tried to direct them to the best way I could, but I still, you know, whether the people that they talked to was like, well, we're just here for now, it's not our permanent home or whatever, you know. Now, I could have contested it, but I just figured it'd be too much of a
It's,
pain.
I mean, you know, at the end of the day, the census says whatever they say,
Yeah.
you know, we can actually give you a more accurate number.
Right,
And, you know, you believe us or not.
right.
But I just wanted you to understand kind of how the town is funded. It's essentially through user fees for a variety of different services that the town provides the resort. And the resort typically would be paying that, but right now the resort is TVA. So,
Bakers
you know,
is
via
what it-
Bakers, you
yeah.
know, so it's, you know, Bakers is that intermediary at the moment, you know, and so
So the town is the town of Fontana, but the resort is.
Fontana Village Resort.
two separate
Yeah.
entities.
Oh, yeah,
One's a
totally.
government entity that's actual municipality, and one is a private, well, it's privately run, at least at this point, but it's technically, it's very convoluted, and it's a very unique situation.
Yes.
And as you get into it, you'll peel back another layer. Sometimes I'm even peeling back a layer I'm unaware of.
Yeah, because I always got confused by that.
Yeah, it is two separate. I mean, the town of Fontana Dam is the same as a Andrews or an Asheville or a Charlotte or anything. You know, it's the rules that govern it are the same that govern those. That's the rules we have to follow.
As many
So,
people as most.
Well, we don't have any real, we're a one-horse town. quite-
Right, your local revenue stream is the resort, like that's,
yeah.
yeah,
So we're
that's literally
jointly
it.
hit, like it or
Yeah.
not.
So we do a lot of passing money back and forth.
Yeah.
So make it,
But
so it's.
So it's
yeah.
legal.
So it's legal, it has to be separate.
But the town itself could actually grow though, right, over time?
If we could have some help and
Land.
assistance, I think the problem is, if you have no privately owned land, you have no tax base, and that is
And we have a
pretty
place to
much
put housing.
the
and everything.
foundation of a town. There's a few other ways maybe we could get there, but we're gonna have to, somebody's gonna have to help us, even more so than we're being helped at the moment.
Hey, I tried to create a revenue stream this month.
Did you?
Yeah, I really did.
Yeah.
Do we wanna put that on camera?
Oh, come on, I wanna hear this now.
No, it was perfectly on the up and up.
Yeah, it was.
I legitimately found a good income source for us. It just didn't end up, I don't think it's gonna end up working.
Well, but it was for,
But there's some negative.
What was it?
having, Kenny Ball, could use our, wastewater plant for dumping.
Oh, yeah.
Because he was gonna up the rates on Fontana.
It's $800. We
Yeah.
pay $500. We haven't, well, we started with $300 last year. Then he went to $500. Well, then he brought his bill last month and it was $800.
Pass his fuel cost on.
Yeah.
Well, yes, so then we started talking, I was like, well, what if we could dump here? Would you take that price down to, say, 500 and then charge the town $50, or, give the town $50 for dumping? Or
Right.
charge us $550 and give you guys 50, as
Right.
opposed to going up to 800.
Right.
Well, did he say that he would do that as far, not us with the 50, but did he say he would reduce the bill?
He reduced the bill down to $550, so he's paying us $550, but he's not gonna dump here.
Why not? For Fontana's, anyway.
I don't know. I don't know behind, like, I don't know what they were thinking. I don't know.
Who put so Kenny put the kibosh on dumping here? And getting-
Well, because the final result was that, okay, well, because I was under the impression that when he came over here and collected, that pretty much his truck was full. But he told her that, no, when I come over there and collect at Fontana, it's just Fontana stuff.
Because I'm not gonna come here and collect your stuff, and we'll collect everybody around the area, and then collect your stuff. We're gonna collect your stuff and then go this way, because they have to dump in Cherokee. So
Right.
they're coming in with an empty truck when they're here, and it didn't make
and
sense
he's not
for
filling
them.
it up here.
Correct, he's going,
But he could still, we still said, well, you can dump it here though, to keep the bill down, so.
Well, my
you know.
question was gonna be, was Dennis cool with that?
Yeah, I talked to Dennis about it too.
That was my main, I thought you
But
were
he
gonna
had
say-
to dump down at the wastewater plant, he couldn't
He
do it at a
couldn't dump it.
manhole
No,
like he
no.
used to do, he had to go down there and do it.
so
And-
see, I was legitimately trying to come up
Yeah,
with.
we were really thinking.
And I think Jason kind of went down that road at
With
one
that.
point, I think he was trying to maybe do the same thing, but like you said, he's still gotta drive out here, he's still
Yeah.
gotta do it. I guess if he drove back light, he might save a little bit of fuel versus driving heavy.
Then
Right.
he has to go still,
Then he has to go,
yeah, and then he's still going to
Pump
Cherokee,
some
yeah,
places.
over in Cherokee, so.
yeah.
It didn't work out, but I tried.
Right,
I mean, that's you got the thinking cap on.
yeah, she was giving it the old college try.
All right, so any other questions on the financials? Okay. Moving to the mayor pro temp.
So, just,
That's
it's tough right now, but
Yeah.
we need to,
no,
well,
she can't.
she's already
Oh,
trained.
yeah, let's get that.
Yeah.
There's been people talking about you.
It's gotta be TIF, right?
Yeah, I think that would be the logical.
But the problem is,
If you
Is
guys
that-
are
if
going.
you're
gone.
One's gone, the other one's probably gone, right, yeah.
they're gonna be on vacation
Yeah.
somewhere.
Yeah, exactly.
Going
Yeah.
to Texas in the winter for a month or two.
Right, and
What
since
about,
Luis, but,
what about Craig?
well, he never did get back to me, and he's been sick, so I haven't been able to talk to him or anything, so,
And why didn't you do it?
because I'm not on the board, I serve the board.
She's
Oh.
town
The
administrator.
only thing we could do is Tiff and I, she takes the signing of the checks and stuff, but then she's not here on.
Yeah, on property all the time. There's no reason why you couldn't hold both titles. I mean, it's not that you have,
Massages a lot.
huh?
I come and do massages a lot.
Yeah, I know, but
But
sometimes
not as
like,
much
yeah.
as-
There's no reason-
not as much.
It's not gonna require any more from you, other than if they aren't here, you might have to preside over a meeting, is all.
I don't care, I'm gonna be here either way, it's really just what's convenient for everybody.
My office is right there.
Just think of,
Right now, you know the inner workings and you probably make the most sense at the
Right.
moment. So if you're cool with that,
But it's fine, I'm here anyways. It doesn't,
it's more of a title than anything.
yeah,
I mean,
you don't get no more money.
I was-
that's
Although we might have to think about providing an incentive right
Yeah,
now.
I know, right?
I'll get it if we get
If we get to that point, so
I'll add that in.
we
Actually,
coerce Lacey into being mayor pro tem?
We'll, yeah, we need to vote on it.
Congrats.
I put it down there at the bottom, so we can either vote on it now, or when we go to the other action
We
items.
go ahead and vote on that.
All right.
I'll entertain a motion to appoint Lacey as mayor pro tem.
Aye.
No.
All in favor?
No, do you make a motion?
I can make a motion.
No.
I'll make a motion to make Lacey mayor pro tem.
Thank you, Tiffany. All in favor of that motion?
Do I have to add that? Aye?
Yeah.
Okay.
Since you're the only, we've got 3 going here. So congratulations and thank you, all at the same time.
And I'm sorry.
And I'm sorry, and I'm sorry as well. Thank you, congratulations, I apologize. All right, let's see. So we're at,
So,
talking about Rachel for
Right.
board member. Do you have any questions for us? I've tried to answer a few of the maybe more obvious questions you might be bouncing around in your head.
As a possible board member, potential,
Should,
what would it be expected of me?
okay. We have meetings once a month, the third Wednesday at 5:30. So essentially, attend the meetings. That's the primary requirement. You know, talking with people and sort of representing the town and taking note of things that you think the town could address. I wouldn't say it's a requirement, but I would say that's,
Encourage?
yeah, that's highly encouraged. I mean, you know, you're becoming a representative of a government body at the end. So you
being
try to,
supportive of the town.
yeah.
Well, I love the town, I do, I love the village, I love being here.
So we talk about things, you know, occasionally there might be an extra meeting or two with some other things that go on. We have a great meeting that we try to be involved with. We have some other things that we've tried to be involved with in the past. We've kind of pulled back. I guess with COVID, everybody pulled in their shells and we really haven't been getting out and about, or I haven't as much.
It doesn't protect you.
But we've all,
Yeah, right.
Just letting you know that doesn't
but
work.
we've had our share of problems here too that we've been trying to address. We've had a lot of fires, figurative and literal, I suppose, that have come up. You know, whether it be power, water, wastewater. It seems like there's been a crisis.
Yeah, going
du
on
jour
for a while
going
now.
on. You know, 1 month this, and 1 month it's that. So occasionally there are some other meetings, but it's very occasional. I mean, Lacey could probably give you an idea. I mean, of course, she writes checks. She's our finance
Deputy finance
finance officer.
We do have a finance officer that is over in Robbinsville, Willow May. She, she keeps our books, balances our accounts, does our payroll, various other things that she does for us throughout the month. And she's really a good person and a good person to know. But for day-to-day operation, like if I get a bill and I need to pay it, you know, I can write out the check, and our checks take 2 signatures on them. So she has the authority to be that person to sign on the top of it, and like we have to have these things on there on our checks that says that it's been approved and that we have the money available and it's budgeted. And so that can only be a finance officer or a deputy finance officer. It can't be the mayor, it can't be me.
And there's checks and balances to basically, you know, discourage shenanigans. You know?
And we're so small anyway. The North Carolina is the only state that has a local government commission, and this is a state agency that oversees municipalities. So if we got in financial trouble, they could step in and take over the town, as a matter of fact. But they require a lot of these things that maybe other places wouldn't, you know. So like we can't go out and get a loan because we only have the one business. And if something happened to it, we couldn't meet our bills.
With our
So-
unique situation, they kind of are looking over our shoulder a fair bit.
Yeah.
You know, which we don't mind, but sometimes it complicates the process a little bit if we're trying to expedite something and you can't, you know, they have to expedite before you can expedite, you know. asking a government agency to expedite something.
Yeah.
Believe that.
That's not ideal.
But as far as how that affects you in serving, it doesn't really, you know, I mean, there's, just like these meetings are going, this is basically what happens. And like I told you before, there's an ethic video that you would have to watch and get the sheet at the end. And
You
but
still gotta send those out, don't you?
yeah, I do gotta send them out. Also that, if you were to come on the board, that you would have to switch your residency to here.
Okay.
You know, because you have to be a resident of the town of Fontana Dam. So, because the town, and the town of Fontana Dam is the same boundary lines as the resort.
Okay.
So, we always say the town
Pretty
is
much,
village
we've
is
got
the
a
town.
we've got a couple of annexed properties up in the heights that are in the process of de-annexing, but that's probably not really even village.
Yeah.
So the only other way it could potentially affect you, bottom line, would be if you change your residence to here, your property tax on your vehicle, you will be paying a county property tax and a town property tax, so.
She don't have a vehicle, she
So it would be, that would be the only other thing, because I think Brandon wasn't aware of that initially.
Yeah.
He was like, what?
Yeah.
But, you know, that's about it, really. I try to make everyone aware that the property tax is gonna,
I did have somebody stop me at Ingles outside the parking lot the other day in concern over the fact that we keep losing board members. What's going on over there? But, you know, it's like I told her, it's like, well, there's a couple of things, you know, work, first of all. I mean, because most of our people that live here work here, so they don't understand that, you know, that you still got to take off from work to be here. You got to make this a priority
well,
for
if you
the once
stop
a month.
working here, you generally aren't.
Aren't living here, so, you know,
Stay.
yeah.
So it's, yeah, so I mean, if you move on to another job and you're moving away.
Yeah, that is the main one, and that, or you just don't come registered to vote here, you don't move your registration, but, you know, that's not really been a big issue, but it is just that is the primary reason why people
Well,
are
not to
leaving the
mention,
board.
when you have a pool of folks that might be somewhere between the 13 on the census and the 30 some
Yeah,
that
the
we've
36
counted,
of-
that's not a very large pool, and it'll flip over every once in a while. So
Well, it's been quite regular for us here lately.
yeah, we've had a lot of
turnover, but it's just, it's not hostility related, it's not, you know, because, you know, or anything to do with anything other than.
It's usually more life kind of
Lifestyle
decision
related, like your life
related.
decision, yeah. So,
Anything else? Good. It's a fun job. It's sometimes you run into the same problems again and again, but you just keep trying to tackle them maybe from a different angle. And you know, sometimes it is what it is. I mean,
so a question for you though, what would make you interested in serving? I mean, you know, just,
Well, one, I was definitely humbled and honored that you even thought of me. And two, it kind of feels good to be a part of something that is making such a great, I don't know if I'm gonna articulate this right, but
don't worry about being correct, politically correct, we don't have that here
She
too
didn't
much.
even ask me that, so you're in the hot seat.
I know, right? Them.
Well, we got a job interview on Facebook Live. This is pretty
It
awesome,
just
actually.
feels good that, to be a part of something in making such a wonderful town become better. You know, it's a small part, but it still feels good.
it's a contribution.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it feels good, and it's an honor for me. I mean,
We try to encourage people to be involved and to pay attention. You know, a lot of times, you know, daily life kind of precludes that, but generally speaking, and you know, not to mention, you know, if you're not aware of sort of the inner workings, you know, the idiosyncrasies, all of those things, then you may not, you know, appreciate, you know, like, at least now when the power goes out or the water or anything, you at least have an inside line to what the heck's going on.
Doesn't mean you're gonna get it fixed any faster.
at least you can plan perhaps, you know, is this gonna be a 12-hour thing and I should do something with the food in my fridge, or?
The power will be out on Monday, just so everybody knows.
Speaking of
Yeah,
power,
probably till about 2 o'clock again, too.
Monday?
Yeah. This Monday it was off until, I thought it was really like 2:30, but I guess it was like, Jeff told Meredith it was after 3.
Yeah, because I left at 2:30.
Yeah, I think I got it. That's not what she
so, do we wanna let you simmer on it for a month and come talk to us, or do we wanna go ahead and, how do we wanna
I definitely will,
proceed?
if,
Yeah?
I definitely want to, if,
Do we
No,
need to
right.
discuss it? Like, and we can always go into closed session too. Like, or can we, Kevin, do you know, we can do that to
You
discuss.
can discuss personnel stuff, yeah.
Yeah, so it'd be
I mean,
personnel.
if she's a board member, you can discuss something like that, yeah.
I mean,
Or a potential board member, I should say.
I don't think there's any, I don't have a need.
Right.
I'm good.
I'm
I'm
good
good
with
with it. You know, I mean, I think you actually, you do articulate well, so that's,
oh, thank you so much.
that's, we want somebody who's interested, who, you know, can contribute, you know, from, you know, whatever perspective that is, because we're always looking for, you know, perspectives we may not have covered, you know, so, we just appreciate the interest.
So we can, and her last name is Harden, that's her maiden name. Wachacha is her official name.
Oh, Wachacha.
Yeah. Wachacha.
I know,
Sorry
right?
about that.
Yeah, Wachacha. I love that name.
All right, I'll entertain a motion, to appoint Rachel to the board if, who wants to do that?
I propose a motion to, invite Rachel to be on the board member. Rachel Wachacha.
Thank you,
Thanks, all in favor? All right, welcome aboard, Rachel.
thank you all.
So that means, like, get me an account number and routing number and your social security card, and there'll be an I-9 form. Is it I-9? Is that? That's, it's where you, that's, you know, where it validates that you are a United States
On
citizen.
immigration.
Yeah,
I-9 is the correct one, yeah.
it is I-9. Okay.
Yeah, we have to keep it at the office.
And then the W-4s and NC-4, so I'll get that paperwork together and you stop by. Now, I'll be gone all next week, so we got time though, so you can do it the following week, or you can do it tomorrow.
Okay, because I was gonna say.
But now I'm leaving early tomorrow, yeah, I'm leaving early tomorrow, so try to be here before lunch.
Okay,
Yeah.
Is your checking and routing the same as?
So I could probably get it from you, we talked about
I can probably
that.
just send you a copy of her.
Yeah, that would be
All
fine.
she needs to do is fill out the.
Yeah, the paperwork that I
Yes,
need.
So I
All
can
right.
send you her, as long as you're okay with me doing that. Okay.
She actually mentioned that earlier, that we could probably do that, so, okay.
I'm gonna write it down to do that tomorrow.
All right.
So moving to the TDA updates, the memorial discussion, and the history magazine discussion.
Which, I mean, so, well, you know, you were here last night, so you can take it away.
So we were talking about a memorial. We've kind of been kicking around a memorial for folks who have passed that were affiliated with the resort, with the town in the past. Most recently, it was Connie Sutter. You know, and we've had others. You know, we had Jeremiah who passed recently. We had his mother that passed. I mean, we had a lot of folks, so we wanted to memorialize folks to
Bill
some degree
Nichols
or
was
another.
another
Bill Nichols was another one.
The damn kid that just passed away,
Yeah,
Wanda Newman.
Yeah.
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 There's a lot of different eras that people were, you know, involved. And so we've been talking about a memorial. I think we tried to actually get a memorial going at the Gunther Cabinet. We've been discussing on the TDA side of things, and also kind of in conjunction with the Fontana Foundation, trying to push forward with a memorial. We've talked about we got a couple of ideas on the table. Really, one primary one, we're talking about possibly doing some kind of gazebo, potentially over across from the church, because that's already a bit of a memorial garden, but it's more scripture-based, and this would be wouldn't have the, an emphasis on, Bible or religion necessarily.
Christianity so much,
Yeah, it would just be more looking at the contribution. But we thought, proximity to something that's already serving a similar function might be good, so that, folks can go here and they could go across the street. We're looking at there's a piece of property across the street from the church, kind of beside the creek. There's it's kind of a flat spot. I actually looked at it, and it doesn't look bad. I was pulling it from memory. So
Right.
we're talking about trying to fund it, probably with TDA funding, primarily making contributions to the foundation, and the foundation will likely kind of be implementing it. So I think we'll give some more updates there as we start to move forward.
Yeah, I'm gonna start looking for some prices on gazebos. We need a approximate size, probably.
Yeah, we'll
What
have to-
our plan is, though, if we do go with the gazebo, is that we will put a couple benches inside, and then what we're gonna do is we'll have plaques in there with names of the person, and we hope to maybe get like a small picture or something put on it, so because that always helps to have a face to what you're doing. And the years maybe that they serve Fontana, in whatever capacity, whether board member, square dance instructor, housekeeping, whatever, accountant. I mean, just however, that just kind of describes in the years that they were here. And, the criteria would be, though, that it would be something that people that have really contributed to Fontana. I know that the Wookiees, right? Was that who it was, that one of their guys died, and they were seeking to buy a memorial, and I thought, what? And then I thought, no, this person, because they've come here for years, but I don't think that would be an appropriate place for that. So,
I don't know if we could potentially, if we saw a demand for that, if we could incorporate something
like
else.
selling something, like selling a spot, like what you do at the church, but that would be the only way, because that way it would be in a memorial spot, but anyway, that's kind of that's about all we've got on that, but, we're gonna follow through on that because we have a lot of people.
So is it gonna be a memorial from the beginning of Fontana all the way
As
up
much
to
as we
current?
can, yeah. I can get with Jeannie and get some names from her. I don't know, and try to locate the people maybe to try to get a picture. And we might not be able to get pictures on all of them, but
But I think that's a tremendous idea, because I see it all the time up at the lodge, people looking at the history of it, and I do it too, I'm not gonna lie.
yeah.
Looking at the history, the little skim
Mhm.
history books they have up there
Mhm.
in the lodge, and I get asked so many questions about different things. And, sometimes I have to be careful, because they ask me stuff when I wasn't even born or thought of yet, and I'm like,
Mhm.
how old do I look?
Yeah, right?
But yeah, I think a lot of the tourists that come through in groups, I think they would be fascinated by that.
Yeah, I think it would be good too. And it's just a way for us to, memorialize people that have made an impact on this area, so that in generations to come, when we become the people that we're talking about from the beginning, that it would be something that people could look back on and see.
Even the ones that knew the ones that you're putting there too.
Right, yeah, family members and stuff, yeah, definitely.
That would, and they would have to be honored.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we're trying to move forward on that. I think we've got a loose framework at this point, and of how we're going to do it. And it may actually, the foundation was kind of inactive there for a while.
And you may not even know about the foundation.
This may be a good project to sort of get the foundation kind of, in some momentum going forward again.
And something other than the lakeshore cleanup.
Yeah, Lakeshore's really been more Brandon's vision, but, the foundation was a vehicle.
Right.
And certainly it addresses a key mission statement.
Right.
Of the foundation. So.
The Fontana Foundation was created in, I think, the 80s. No. When No, Jeannie, I think, when did she come here first? Do you remember?
A long time ago, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't remember
She
either,
raised
but-
both of her kids here, so I
Yeah,
think she's.
so it's been a while.
been
It might have been
since-
in the 80s. It could have been. And,
Assistant to David.
Yeah.
Wow, right?
Yep.
so, and it's, what it's used for is like for Fontana Lake, Lakeshore cleanup, those kind of things. The support of Gunther Cabin, which hasn't had a whole lot of support lately. And then helping those in need around the area like that fall upon hardship, like if your house burned down and, you know, they might. For example, I had a stroke and I lost my eyesight in my left eye. They sent me a check for $300. So, you know, things of that nature. They do things that are helpful.
They help school kids too. They would buy school clothes or school supplies for kids that couldn't
Afford them.
afford them. or-
So it's just a nonprofit that we have that, you know, that can do various things, mostly centered around this area. Like if we have kids in this area that, you know, that are living in the village that might have a need, we could, you know, probably supply that if it wasn't like for a new computer or something. So,
So then the other thing was the history magazine discussion.
so Kevin can take the lead on that, but I did tell him that we approved $1,000 in support of it. So, and I asked him about getting some extra copies, and he said we could certainly do that, and we get an ad. We don't know the size of the ad yet, so.
No, I've got the specs at the office. I can get that to Zellery tomorrow on how to, are you gonna be building the ad or do we have a graphics person up here that can?
Well, I know
or-
Lisa had mentioned something yesterday about helping with the.
We can certainly check with Lisa. She would be the person to
Rob and I's
Yeah,
main
yeah.
thing was to make sure the TDA got mentioned.
Yes, absolutely, yes. I mean, you can supply us the content, we've got a graphics person,
kind of a
so
running,
it's either way, so, yeah.
run thing.
I'll tell you about that.
But the magazine is basically just an idea we had to try and celebrate the 150th anniversary of Graham County. Wanted to roll it out right about now, but nothing got planned until about a month ago, so we didn't have time to turn a magazine around. So we're trying to release it late October in conjunction with the first county commissioner meeting, which was right around Halloween in 1872. And it's just going to chronicle pre-Graham County, the establishment of Graham County, early industry, communities like Fontana, Stokoa. Not sure about Santitla yet. I'm still trying to rack my brain on how we're going to do Santitla, and of course Robbinsville and the fun little tidbits along the way. It's just going to be kind
Probably
of
Tapoca.
have a Tapoca section there. Absolutely. I got to talk to Valerie about that, but
We don't know yet how many pages it's
we
going to
don't
be,
know
so
the
we
page
don't
count.
know how many.
I'm hoping it'll be
pages
massive.
will
We've
be
asked every county entity to get on board, and so far, you guys, the Historical Association, Travel and Tourism, the county commissioners, and Stokoa today actually told me they're also in on it, and we're waiting to hear from Robbinsville, but they're pretty sure they're going to pitch in as well. So, there are a lot of people on board, and we're going to try to obviously sell some advertising for it if anybody wants to buy it. It's a business, but it should be a very successful, fun, commemorative piece for people to keep
How
for
much
years.
is a little ad, does it?
Well,
is
we
it
get our ad
is-
for free for the sponsorship.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, if a county entity sponsors it,
Yeah.
then they get a free full-page ad in the magazine, as well as an acknowledgement up at the front and the table of contents.
You're asking what a small ad would cost?
But yeah, I'll get you that. That's on my phone. I'll get you that after.
She might be more interested possibly in a small ad in the paper itself.
That's what I was thinking you were thinking.
And your mom might be interested in something about the church too,
It's possible.
Yeah, we can do that.
you know, so.
Well,
I can-
when I shut this off, we'll go through all that. I've got it on my phone. I just don't remember
Okay.
everything off the top of my head. But yeah, I'm very excited about it. We're putting it together right now. Marshall McClung, a local historian who writes columns for us twice a month, is provided us with about, I'm going to say 80% of the content, just because he's archived the entire history of the county over his life.
I also asked him if I could
And-
look over, you know, stuff about. Fontana
Yes,
Local
that's
Advocacy,
correct.
and he was more than
The
accommodating.
sponsors will have a day to come by the office and peruse through the magazine after we've got a rough draft out and proofread it basically, and we'll fix anything we need to and move forward. So, yep,
Sounds good.
good stuff, good stuff.
So just FYI to you, we mentioned TDA a couple of times, Tourism and Development Authority. It's 3% room tax that we use it for essentially, it's tourism related, whether it's marketing, advertising. We work with the resort marketing on some different projects. We also do various capital type improvements,
We
the
put-
playground.
Yeah.
We restored trout pond area. You know, it was kind of in bad shape there for a while. You know, disc golf, we've done some work out there. You know, we typically try to do a capital project. But I just wanted you to be aware, when you hear TDA, that's different than
And it's a
TVA.
branch, it is a branch of the town.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm the chair of the TDA as well. And we've got Lisa, marketing director, we've got Meredith on board, we've got Zell is on, and we had Connie Sutter on, and with her passing, we're gonna be considering
Yeah.
a third person. That's gonna be something we're gonna have to do here in the next month or two, is
Yeah.
just figure out what we wanna do with that seat. So I just wanted you to be aware that when we're talking about that, you know, it's the town, it's the tourism and development, and then we've got the foundation. Those are kind of the, aside from the resort, those are, you know, the entities. And then you got Bakers, and then you got, you know, TVA, the Tennessee Valley Authority. So just to keep all those sort of players that are in play, keep them straight.
I'm totally hearing everything you're saying, but you're
Mama,
gonna have to
mama,
give me,
mama,
no,
mama.
you.
If I tell you get home, it's
No,
gonna be like, what did you
used
say?
to it, it's
Right.
like Chinese to me.
Yeah,
I don't
right.
I'm not.
Well, when we say TDA, we're not mispronouncing TVA.
Yeah, I just
Just
wanted
know that.
I just wanted to clarify that because
Catch on to what every part does and how it moves.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
part of
he's
here.
planting the seed, so
You'll
Yeah.
be
I
fine.
hear it
It
enough.
will, you will catch
just
it
so I
right
can
up.
distinguish, because I know sometimes it can all blur together.
Yeah,
So it'll come.
Oh.
It'll come.
it will, very quickly.
All right. So I see a truck up there.
Yeah, well, I called
Oh,
today, there's not
yeah.
really any good updates. He hadn't even looked at it yet. I said, well, I have a council meeting tonight, and I've got to report to them. And he said, I'll look at it by the end of the week.
Ooh.
So what was the point of our appointment?
I don't know, really good thing to know.
I did drive by there. It's the Ford dealership in Bryson.
Did you drive it over there?
No.
No,
When I drove by there, though, I noticed their entire parking lot is slam jam full of.
They had a
cars
couple
in
of big
service.
projects that they were working on, and I know that took some extra time, but.
Really full?
I've never seen that many. I mean, we used to live in Bryson for a few years, and I never ever saw it that full. They don't have a lot of inventory, but apparently they're making a lot of money off of service right now.
Yeah. Yeah,
Nobody wants to buy a new vehicle because it
Probably
takes
not.
7 weeks to get it.
Yeah,
That's why.
yeah.
so,
So we don't know, but he's gonna try to let us know something soon.
yeah, he said that, he would definitely look at it by the end of the week, but, you know, if he tries, I did, and I should have given it to him too, but when I called last week and talked to somebody there, I gave them a cell number to put down, you know, so they should have it, because if they call here, then,
Well, maybe that's one of the things I can do when I'm. So we'll move to the next thing. Zell's gonna be going out of town. I guess what, 22nd
yeah,
to
Monday,
the 1st.
yep.
And I was gonna maybe try to, let's see. So she'll be leaving the 22nd, so
Next Monday.
pretty much that next couple of weeks there, let's see, we're back to 1st, so pretty much it's like 23rd, 24th.
And I'll be back on that Thursday, so I'll be actually gone from here from Tuesday of that week, next week, to Thursday of the following week.
So you'll be back Friday?
Yeah, no, I'll be back Thursday.
You're back Thursday,
Yeah.
so you'll be back to work on the 1st.
Yeah, I'll be back home Wednesday.
So it really only affects the tail end of that one week and the beginning of the
Yeah.
following week.
Yeah,
Tiff and I's anniversary is on the 25th, so I'm betting we're gonna be doing something on or about then, so I'm not sure if we're gonna be traveling or what we're.
wouldn't you be wanting to do it on a weekend?
With her, actually, weekends right now.
Yeah, or your busiest time?
Yeah, she's.
Actually, I have some groups on the 27th, yeah.
So we were talking about trying to maybe map out 2 or 3 days when I can be around.
So I could put it on
Is
that.
there anything you can think of that'll be going on while Zell's scheduled to be gone, that it would be good to have a point of contact down here for the resort, or, you know, is there any?
Not anything major that I can think of.
I didn't know if there was something going down.
I mean, we got a wedding we got a wedding
I didn't
on
know
the
if somebody from
weekend.
TVA or Baker was gonna be around in town or anything like that.
Not that I'm aware of. Mitchell's coming this weekend, but it's personal.
Is he?
He's bringing his son.
Didn't
Well,
see you.
So I will just work out with Zell then. What, you know, I'm thinking a couple, 3 days, you know, maybe that 29th, the Monday perhaps.
Well, if you could do one day next week.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then,
That's what I was gonna say, maybe the 23rd or the 24th, you know, maybe Wednesday might make sense.
It would be a good idea to put just a letter on everybody's door. You don't need
Well,
to put one on my door, but if you need to put the.
when I send out the water bills, I'll have
That's
it
what I
at the
would,
bottom.
that's a good idea. So I would just put the dates you're gonna be available, so they
Right.
So
can.
when are you sending those out, tomorrow?
Yeah.
All right, well,
Well, that puts you on the spot, huh?
yeah.
Well, we've been talking about this for a while.
Yeah.
So he's not really on the spot.
For you to do what?
Work,
Come in and open the office for people that want to come down and pay water bill, if the dentist or somebody needs something, because there might be, I mean, I had to order some expensive parts today and yesterday, so Jeff Williams hit me up for, I mean, it's stuff we have to have, so, you know, to operate, whatever that box is down there, and then Dennis, because of some of the outages that we've had, that was unexpected. The step-down transformer blew, and it's something that's on the inside of the wastewater plant, and several fuses that are very expensive. So I spent like $2,500 on him today, and about $2,500 for that thing that Jeff ordered.
so how about this? How about Wednesday?
The 24th.
Wednesday the 24th, that would, you know, you'd be gone a day, so that would, so
From what time?
Wednesday the 20th, we'll just say all day. I'll be around the village, I'll do a 9
You
to
want to do
5.
9 to 5?
Yeah. And then I'm thinking Friday afternoon would allow me to be around for.
So that's 26,
Yeah, the 26th, and we'll just say,
1 to 5.
1 to 5, yeah, do a half day there. And then for the next week, do you think Monday or Tuesday would be better, since
I
you're gonna be
think
back
Tu-
Thursday?
Yeah,
And
let's see.
Tuesday?
I think so, yeah.
Let's do Tuesday,
So that's the, let's see, it's
30th.
30th?
Yep, and we'll do an all day there. We don't have anything conflicting, do we?
So 9 to 5 on that day?
And I think that'll
That should be
give us
suffice. Yeah.
enough coverage.
And I will put my cell phone down in case, you know, anybody needs me for anything, and then I'll probably relay it to you, but at least, you know, I'll be aware.
Get a hold of you.
All right.
So we typically, when Rob has covered before for me when I've had to go out of town. Now, we will have a payroll in that, but I can send that from my cell phone. I've already told Will and Meg that I would do that. One thing to make you guys aware of, that your money for this month will not drop until the end of the month, because you got to change a date. So, but it will be for this month, but it'll just be at the end of the month. However, your ARP stipend will drop with this pay period here. So the rest of it though, you'll get. Is that all right? I mean, that's not gonna hurt you or anything, right? I mean, $150, so it's probably not gonna hurt too bad, but still.
I see,
you know.
so it'll actually drop the second, so it'll drop,
Yeah,
yeah, I see.
Yeah.
Because it's, that extra almost week or whatever. kind of-
right. Well, she has the way it's set up on QuickBooks now. She has them set for certain dates, and ours is every other week for David, Dennis, myself, you know. And you guys is just for once a month, and she goes in there and changes it for whatever month, you know, whatever that date is after the council meeting. She forgot to do that when she dropped it today, so that's why. So, and now Rob typically,
QuickBooks today.
huh?
I got an email from QuickBooks today.
Did you?
Yeah, did anybody else? Oh.
Well, they probably haven't even signed up. You can
It says
sign
here's
up.
your pay stub.
Yeah, you can see your pay
Oh,
stub.
to log into the Quick, I think I got one a while
Oh,
back
I might have.
from
Yeah.
QuickBooks, inviting me to, I guess.
View your pay stub, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you're right, I did.
Yeah.
Today you did?
But now, if you didn't go and do it, it's probably expired by now. And
Oh.
I can have her send out notices again.
I mean,
Yeah, I can see it on my bank account, so I'm.
Yeah, I know, it's not something that I really
I'm not
care.
too.
I think
concerned.
David would be benefit by it, but yeah. So when Rob works, we pay him 15 bucks an hour, so, not 50, sorry, dude.
50 bucks
So
an hour.
close.
Oh, yeah.
All right, anything else we need to discuss?
Yeah, we have to,
Yeah,
we
got
still have
some
to
action.
approve, but yeah, discussion
How do
wise,
we do that?
not for the, contract. That it's not really finished yet, but that this is
Oh.
approval of, with the residents and the resort for the water
The
bill.
water bill,
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah, so I guess we're gonna need a motion for, I guess, adopting what, new water bill protocols, including collection via the resort?
Yeah.
You can just say what he said.
Yeah, I wrote you what he said.
I agree.
All in favor?
You were really making that wordy, so I was killing me over here.
Oh, God.
So do we?
Sometimes less is more.
Yeah, well, yeah, I try to be concise, but sometimes you can't.
I know, it's like, what am I really approving here? Okay. Yeah, I think that was only one, right?
Yeah, I think we got to everything else. We got the hazard mitigation, we got,
Lacey is
we
mayor.
coerced Lacey and we coerced Rachel.
Coerce.
Not really,
Just kidding, people.
Hey, if they've watched, they know you didn't coerce them.
But if they tuned in there at the end.
Twisting under the table there.
Check the archives.
All right, no, any need for closed session for anything else?
I don't believe so.
All right, well, we're gonna, see, let me look at the, next month real quick.
It's on Wednesday, September 21st.
There we go. September the 21st, so it's, put that on the calendars, and, I guess we'll adjourn here at, 7:05.